I just ate a piece of braised pork and surprisingly gained 10 years, all because this was a food condensed from ghostly power. Although it costs only one ghost coin, no one dared to buy it. It turns out that in this strange, ghost coins must be repaid with 1 year of life for one ghost coin. Bear in mind, the average human lifespan is just over. However, I indulged in 900 because I possess the forbidden art of making ghost coin. Just moments ago, I was reborn 2 days before the apocalypse began. But before I could celebrate, there was a sudden, urgent knock at the door. Thinking it might be the neighbor needing help with, I opened the door without much thought. "Sir, your delivery." Standing in the dim hallway was a delivery man. In his hand was a plastic bag emanating a savory aroma. Just a whiff made my mouth water. Stirring up an intense hunger, I awkwardly said, "I don't recall ordering delivery." But as soon as I suddenly remembered a piece of eerie information. There is a phenomenon called the delivery ghost. Using its ghostly powers, it condenses tantalizing food. It delivers this food randomly to others, tempting them to take advantage. If you eat the food, you trigger a death rule. But then I thought, this doesn't add up. According to the official announcement, the apocalypse was supposed to start the night. How could it appear now? Moreover, on this day in my previous, no strange events occurred. I became intrigued. I decided to see if this really was the delivery. I took the bag from his hand. The delivery, condensed by ghostly powers, had a unique flavor and special effects. Just one bite could confirm it. However, after closing the door, I didn't rush to open the bag. Instead, I placed it on the cob. Before eating it, I needed to prepare some ghost coins first. Otherwise, if it was indeed failing to provide ghost coins, would lead to so-called ghost coins. Can be the funeral home paper money with or gold and silver ingots folded from special paper. By burning them in a specific ritual, they can become ghost coin. In my previous, countless people folded ingots at home to survive. Some burned them for personal use, while others exchanged them with authorities for food and supply. However, this method had severe side effects, accelerating aging and shortening life. With this in mind, I took the silver foil from a cigarette pack, wrote my birth date and time on it, and skillfully folded it into an ingot. Holding the ingot above my head, I bowed deeply to the north. The ritual was complete, but as I was about to burn the paper ingot, I realized I couldn't find the lighter. At that moment, the knocking resumed. I froze in shock. Why is it back so soon? Luckily, I hadn't touched the food. If it was the delivery ghost, returning the food would end. But when I turned to the coffee table, I was stunned. The soup had somehow leaked out of the bag. The aroma of the meat filled the entire room. The lights started flickering. With a creak, the door opened under an unknown force. It was the At a critical moment, I glanced toward the kitchen. The delivery ghost sensed the food had been opened. He was visibly upset. At this moment, humans still didn't know how to obtain ghost coin. According to the death rule, he was ready to dine. After searching the room, he finally found me in the kitchen. "Sir, I delivered to the wrong ad. Please return the food to me." Looking at his terrifying appearance, I coldly replied, "I already ate it." The delivery ghost grinned, a smug smile spreading. "If you ate my delivery, or pay with your life, I'll pay you," I replied. His eyes were full of disdain. 88 ghost coins. "I only accept ghost coins." "No ghost coins? Then your life will—" As he spoke, he lunged forward. But I suddenly extended my right hand. "Are you blind? Isn't this ghost currency?" A silver ingot gleamed brightly in my palm. The delivery ghost froze in place. How does a living human have ghost coin? At the moment he opened the door, I had used the gas stove in the kitchen to ignite the paper. Smirking, I said, "Hurry up and make change." He weighed the silver in his hand. It was about 1 tael of gold is equivalent to 10. 1 tael of silver equals 1,000 and copper coins have the same value as ghost paper. 1 copper coin equals 1 yuan. The ingot I gave was worth 3,000 ghost paper. What's wrong? Can't make change for ghosts? Ghost coins aren't just money. They're vital resources for cultivation and increase. As a low-level stray ghost, the delivery ghost would absorb ghost coins to avoid them being stolen by others. Therefore, he had no spare change. He threatened, "If you give me all the silver, I'll let you go." But I knew that while ghosts love eating humans, they must adhere to the rules. Sneering, I said, "Quit talking nonsense. Make change now." He glared at me fiercely, but despite his anger, he had no choice but to absorb the equivalent of 80 times the ghost paper's energy. I coldly said, "You've been compensated. Now you can leave." But the delivery ghost cracked a sinister, "Since I delivered to the wrong address, I need to verify your details." "What exactly is your address here?" I immediately understood. This was the second rule of the delivery ghost. If I didn't answer, It would trigger a death condition. Haikang Residential Area, Block 5, Unit 701. What's your name? This was the true intent of the second death rule. If I said my real name, it would trigger the final rule. So I randomly made one up. My name is Xiaguofeng. The delivery ghost burst into laughter, chanting, Xiaguofeng, come into my mouth. The rule is fulfilled. Now I can start eating human. I shouted in alarm, my legs moving uncontrollably toward the delivery. It was as if I were about to feed myself to him. Seeing this, the delivery ghost grew even more. I stared at his horrifying, foul-smelling mouth, then suddenly thrust my left arm in. But as soon as he broke my skin, I quickly pulled my arm back. He looked utterly shocked. How can you break free of the rule's power? The next moment, a powerful pressure enveloped him. He immediately realized, that's not your true name. You dared to deceive a ghost. I smirked coldly. You caused me harm without me breaking. Now it's you who violated the rules. At that moment, the delivery ghost, by the force of the rule's power. If nothing unexpected happened, he would soon be ripped to shreds. Sign a contract with me. It's your only chance to survive. Damn human. I'd rather die than yield to you. I sneered, still acting tough, huh? Fine, then die. It's perfect. You can help me accomplish. With that, I pulled another paper ingot from my pocket and slowly brought it close to the ghost. The ghostly power being torn from him seemed to be drawn toward the ingot. Streams of energy flowed into it. The once paper ingot began to take on a metallic sheen, and it gained weight. The delivery ghost, seeing, was so shocked his eyes nearly. This is the forbidden technique of the ghost realm. I was ecstatic. In my previous, I was killed in the eerie realm while investigating the method to create ghost coins. Unlike burning, which drains human vitality, this method has no cost for humans. Watching the silver ingot in my hand grow larger, the delivery ghost finally showed regret. Brother, I was wrong. I'm willing to sign an equal contract, but I shook my head. Now I only accept master-slave contract. The delivery ghost grew wanting to curse, but dared not speak. It turns out there are 3 types of contracts between ghosts and master-slave contracts, equal contracts, and ghost-master contract. A master-slave contract makes the human and the ghost the humans can use the ghost's powers at will, without any cost. If the master dies, the ghost dies as well. An equal contract is more like an employment agreement. Humans must pay a price to use the ghost's powers, such as lifespan, souls, or ghost coins. In a ghost master contract, the ghost can freely extract a human's lifespan without any restrictions. I urged, you don't have much time left. Make your decision. The delivery ghost was extremely reluctant, but staring at the growing silver in my hand, he suddenly had a thought. This human knows the forbidden art of creating ghosts. He'll never lack ghost coins, and maybe following him isn't a bad choice. I give up. I'm willing to sign a master-slave contract. As the contract was signed, the rule's power disappeared. The delivery ghost transformed and entered my body. I started although the delivery ghost is the lowest level, it possesses 2 very practical ghostly techniques. One is called netherworld delivery. Consuming food formed by the power of the netherworld overall can slow aging, gradually extend life, and keep one in a vigorous state of mind, resisting certain ghostly illusions. However, if consumed in excess, within a short, it may transform the consumer into a ghostly entity. The other technique is called door. Its advantage is the ability to remotely. However, its limitation is that it only works. I recall that in my previous life, a super powerful ghostly entity, its first appearance killed 60 to 70,000. After several evolutions, it rose from a fierce ghost to a ghost, turning an entire city of 1 million people into a ghost town. However, it was eventually forcibly contracted by a human thanks to the delivery ghost's ghostly technique. Thinking about this, I couldn't help but feel excited. Perhaps in this lifetime, I might have a chance. Suddenly, strange sounds echoed in the corner. It was the sound of a lighter igniting. I instantly tensed up. There was another ghostly presence in the room. It turns out the lighter was missing earlier, because it had been taken by the sound was coming from inside the wardrobe. I immediately walked to the wardrobe. Using the door opening technique, I opened. Inside sat a plump, ghostly baby. A sudden sense of foreboding overcame me. You see, ghostly babies are among the most troublesome types of. Even their lowest level is a fear. Their death rules are strange and varied, making them hard to. They are far stronger than delivery ghosts. I noticed some oil stains at the corner of its, resembling the soup spilled from the delivery. Suddenly I realized it was this creature that knocked over the ghostly baby suddenly grinned at me and chuckled, then disappeared without a trace. At the same time, the sound of a baby crying began to echo around. For a moment, everyone in the apartment building. However, the sound drifted aimlessly, making it impossible to tell where. My expression grew even more serious. It was because I knew exactly what kind of ghost. The entity was not just one, it was a duo known as the Ghost Mother. The Ghost Mother and they possessed a nearly unbreakable death rule. Anyone they targeted was almost guaranteed to die. And now it was the middle of the night. Everyone was awakened by the noise. Whose kid is crying so loudly? Can't someone do something about it? Aren't you scared? No child could cry this loud. Could it be a ghost? Aunt Liu from Unit 302, muttering and complaining. Whose child is this anyway? So annoying. As soon as she spoke, a ghostly figure suddenly appeared behind her. Her husband, standing at the door, saw and screamed in horror. With a loud bang, he quickly shut the door. Aunt Liu trembled in fear and turned around, only to see a pale face pressed against hers. She stammered, "Are you human or ghost?" "My child is missing," the figure said. "Can you help me find them?" Aunt Liu realized that as soon as the baby's cries had stopped. "Miss, if your child is missing, call the police. I haven't seen your child either." As she spoke, Aunt Liu turned and banged on a door. But the door wouldn't open. "If you can't find my child, you will die." The next moment, a wave of ghostly and Aunt Liu aged visibly at an alarming rate. In just 2 or 3 seconds, she turned into a withered corpse. "What's going on the I just heard someone shouting about a ghost." "Nonsense, there are no ghosts. I've lived for decades and never seen." Many frightened residents had already shut their doors. However, there were still many who they continued to wander. Hearing the screams, I quickly opened my door and went. I happened to see my female peeking out her head halfway. "Shia, don't go out," she warned. "There might be." I didn't reply. Instead, I went straight to the stairwell and shouted, "Agree to its demand, or you'll die immediately." Someone downstairs asked, "What do you mean? Is there really a ghost?" It's not that I was meddling, but this ghost mother and child would turn the entire building into their hunting ground. Although the ghostly eagle it doesn't actively kill. However, its mother is extremely dangerous. The ghost mother possesses 2 deadly rules. The first is making people help her find her. If someone refuses, they are immediately devoured. The second is that after agreeing, she reappears every 10 minutes, randomly picking someone to ask if they've found her ghostly child. If the person finds it, they live and receive a ghostly artifact as a reward. Otherwise, everyone else is devoured. If it's not found, the person is devoured. Then the ghost mother vanishes for 10 minutes before she continues asking the next, and the cycle repeats until someone finds the ghostly eagle, or everyone is. This is why I warned everyone. The longer they delay, the more time I have to find the ghostly entity. What are you saying? Could there really be a ghost? Just do as I say. When it comes for you, no matter what it asks, agree to it first. While we were speaking, another round of screams came from downstairs. Clearly, no one took my words seriously. A minute later, someone exclaimed, "It really works. As long as you agree to help her find her child." Suddenly, many people started rushing up. "Brother, how do you know about the ghost woman?" I had to make up I said I'd read about this type of ghost story on ghost stories. How could they be real? At this point, better safe than sorry. Who cares if it's a ghost? Let's call the police first. If calling the police worked, check your phone. Does it even have a... Not only were our phones without, but the building doors and windows were sealed shut. Even jumping out was impossible. I understood immediately. This was the ghost mother's domain. Escape was simply not an option. "Kid, in that ghost story you read, was there a way to get rid of the ghost?" I waved my hand dismissively. The story didn't say much about that. It only mentioned finding the baby to survive. Let's not waste time here. The ghost woman appears every 10 minutes. Everyone should go home, turn on all the lights, search everywhere, every dark corner of your rooms. Maybe the ghost woman's child is hiding there. But just as everyone was about to, the ghost mother suddenly appeared behind a man. "Did you find my child?" The man stammered nervously. I was just about to look for it." As soon as he finished, the ghost mother grew furious. In the blink of an eye, she turned the man into a... Chaos erupted as everyone scrambled to their rooms in terror. "Shia, I'm scared. Can I stay in your room?" Witnessing the ghost woman kill someone, he was already pale with fear. But I glanced at him briefly and shut my door without a word. Back in my room, the first thing I did was arrange all the bowls and cups in every corner of the room. If the ghost eagle appeared, it might knock something over, making a sound. After finishing, I turned off all the lights in the room again. The ghost sound can only sleep in shadows or dark places. Other households had their lights on, but my place was completely dark. This increased the chances of the ghost sound, although it felt a bit unethical. The moment this ghost mother and child, the outcome was already sealed. Either everyone in the building or only one person survives. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Every 10 minutes, a scream echoed through the hallway. More and more people were dying. I sat motionless in the dark living room, but the ghost eagle still didn't come. Then came knocking on the door again. "Brother, open up! Let's discuss what to do." At this point, more than 10 people had gathered. They had turned their own homes upside down, even checking the home. Still, they could, even though 2 people had seen it, they couldn't catch it. When everyone compared notes, they realized the key problem. The ghost sound was uncatchable. If this continued, everyone would die. "Open the door. If you don't, we'll I initially planned to ignore them, but the knocking was too annoying. I had no choice but to turn on the light and "Why did it take you so long to open?" A burly man angrily. Then he noticed the situation in the "What's with all these bottles and jars?" I knew it. He has a way to catch it. He's hiding something from us. Not telling the truth will get us all. Their eyes were full of anger and suspicion. I retorted bluntly, "If I knew how to catch the ghost, would I have waited until now?" "I don't believe you. You'd better spill everything." The burly man was about to, but everyone's expressions suddenly changed. "Would I have waited until now? I don't believe you. You'd better tell us everything you." The burly man was about to make, but everyone's expressions suddenly changed. They all stepped back in terror. "Oh no, the ghost mother is here." I turned around abruptly. I saw the ghost woman standing right behind. This time, her target was me. "You found her." She had just said 3 words when I shouted loudly to interrupt her. "Shut up. Don't speak yet. Listen to me." I couldn't let the ghost mother finish her sentence. Otherwise, the death rule would be, and certain death. She looked puzzled, a hint of curiosity flickering in her eye. "What do you want to say?" "I found your child, but then they escaped again. I have something they dropped. Look, is this yours?" As I spoke, I took out a name tag. The ghost mother's eyes lit. "This is a photo. Silver for you. Is it enough if I find your child?" The ghost mother shook her head. "But the rules don't allow that." I thought for a moment. "Then please don't come to me first. Come to me last." The ghost mother chuckled twice. "Deal. Crafty human. I'll come back for you last and drain you dry." Witnessing this, everyone outside the door widened their eyes. Is this really a way to prolong? This guy really has been hiding something from us. Just then, the ghost mother instantly appeared in front of a woman. "Have you found my child?" The woman stammered in fear. "I can give you gold. Please don't come to me." As she spoke, she tore the gold necklace off her neck. But to her, the ghost mother dismissed it. "I only accept ghost money." In the next second, the woman was drained into a dried. For a moment, everyone was stunned. The burly man anxiously asked, "Where did you get that ghost money? Is there more, or just this one?" "I picked it up by the roadside." The burly man clearly didn't believe me. "You hand over your ghost money and share it with it." The others chimed in. "Yeah, that's right. Not saving people is no different from killing them." Without further argument, they prepared to barge. Seeing this, I kicked the burly man out the door and quickly shut it behind him. I thought to myself, there are only about 15 or 16. That means I have just 150 minutes left. If I can't catch the ghost by then, I'll still end up dead. While I was at a loss, I suddenly heard a sound from the kitchen. It seemed like something hit a glass. I quickly turned on the light and rushed. There, I saw the ghost eagle sitting on the gas. I immediately lunged toward it. But in just an instant, its figure vanished again. As expected, it's impossible to catch it. Then I suddenly noticed my unfinished takeout. It had been completely eaten. Could it have been the ghost eagle that ate? Suddenly, a thought struck me. Maybe I could lure it with food. Meanwhile, outside the door, after the ghost mother killed another person, the crowd began to disperse. Since they couldn't open the door, they decided it was a waste of time and went back to look for the ghost. Perhaps there was still a glimmer of hope. The burly man was extremely and decided to go home to get a knife. No matter what, he was determined. He believed that catching me was his only. Suddenly, someone called out to him, "But I'm a locksmith by trade. I can pick the lock." The burly man dangerously replied, "Why didn't you act sooner?" To his surprise, the man gestured for silence. "Keep it down. The others have left." He then continued, "Think about it carefully, buddy. Opening the door we'll all get ghost money from his house. Then, everyone would demand to be the ghost's last target. How is that even possible?" The burly man quickly realized someone has to die first for there to. So the two immediately decide, "Let's work together. You pick the lock, and I'll subdue him. We'll find the ghost money and split it with the others." After discussing, they each went home. They whispered, thinking no one could hear them. Little did they know, I was listening through the door. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, I had laid out to lure the ghost eagle. I turned off the lights and quietly hid in the corner to wait. The tempting aroma made even me swallow myself. After some time, I finally heard chewing noises. The ghost eagle was here. I lunged at it instantly. Since it was just 2 steps away, I managed to grab it smoothly. The ghost eagle struggled with its tiny, crying and howling, but it wasn't strong. It seemed that once caught, it couldn't escape. At this moment, the burly man and the locksmith It looks like he caught the ghost. I'll open the door. Let's snatch the ghost eagle from him. They pulled out tools and prepared to break in. But suddenly, an onlooker burst through the door. I heard everything you— If you get you have to give me a share too. Otherwise, I'll tell all the survivors in the two had no choice but to agree. Inside, I emerged from the kitchen holding the ghost eagle. As I reached, there was a click. The lock was broken from outside. The three barged in. Hand over the ghost eagle and the money. Otherwise, we'll kill you before I sneered. Then go ahead and try. Damn it, you think I won't dare? He cursed angrily and charged at me. In the next second, he saw me flash a strange smile. At the same time, my mouth began splitting all the way to my ear. A ghost, he screamed in terror. He immediately turned and ran outside. The man in the hoodie dropped to his knees with a thud. I'm sorry, we were wrong. He apologized as he crawled out the door. Only Jiang Yu stood frozen in place. So you're a ghost too? I smiled. Of course not. I then lifted the ghostly possession state, returning to my original appearance. He snapped back to reality and begged, please save me. I don't want to die. I'll do anything you say. But before I could the lights in the room suddenly flickered. A shadow appeared abruptly, making Jiang Yu scream. You found my child. The ghost mother sniffed the air in the room. So it's food made of netherworld energy? No wonder. Return my child and everything will end, right? The ghost mother nodded indifferently. You may live, but everyone else must die. She plucked a strand of her hair. This is your reward for completing the task. I was confused. What's the use of this hair? She explained. Dip it in your blood and place it somewhere. As long as it's within 100 miles, you can swap places with it. I thought to myself, this is too bad there's only one. But as soon as I handed the ghost eagle to the ghost, it let out a sharp cry. It broke free from her arms in an instant and leaped back into mine. The ghost mother was instantly furious at the sight. It was as if she thought I was a child kidnapper. I quickly tried to explain, this has nothing to do with me. Just when I thought she was about to attack me, she suddenly asked, are you willing to sign a ghost master contract with my It seemed she had taken a liking to my food, imbued. I snapped back angrily. Are you joking? Why should I recognize him as my— I've already completed the task anyway. I didn't trigger the death rule, so you can't do anything to me. She frowned and sighed deeply. Then let's sign an equality contract instead. My heart leapt with joy. The ghost eagle could move freely between. This ghost power wasn't just useful for escape, but also for launching surprise. It was incredibly practical. But as I felt a surge I suddenly composed myself. Why should I sign a contract with him? He just wants to freeload off me, doesn't he?